Hey there, YouTube. It's been a fair while. I thought I'd try out, a test live stream. I haven't done that actually, but I've just been mucking around with it over the last 5 to 10 minutes and thought, well, hey, I'll go live. Hope you all had a great Christmas and also have a great New Year. But for some, especially here in Australia, due to the recent outbreak of COVID-19, Delta, and the Omicron variant, I think that's how you pronounce it, Omicron, has trashed plans for partygoers and whatnot, and people that just want to go out and watch the New Year's Eve fireworks in your city, town, wherever. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Everybody tries to do the right thing, and there's always going to be one idiot that mucks it up for everybody else. But at the end of the day, we all have to suffer due to other people's stupidity. But what's been going on since the last time I'd done a video, just over a year ago? A lot has changed. I got my trigeminal neuralgia, which I think I've told you guys before, has been sort of like an up and down battle. On heavy painkillers for this nerve condition, but also at the same time, just feeling just so worn out, so tired. And just my extreme nerve pain, trigeminal neuralgia. For those out there that don't know what trigeminal neuralgia is, basically it's you got your trigeminal nerve that runs down the left side of your face. That's responsible for touch, feel around the left side of the face, especially down towards your cheek and just up here as well. Well, what happens is the trigeminal nerve, you've got blood vessels and arteries that rub up against the trigeminal nerve, like somebody playing a violin. It causes extremely painful, chronic pain, electric shock-like type of pains to the left side of your head. But you can get it on the right side, which is called bilateral. Basically, it's the worstest known pain condition to medical science. I had an operation back in 2013 to try and help it when I was living over in New South Wales, Kempston, and I got flown down to Prince of Alfred Hospital in Sydney, where I spent 2 weeks down there, had an operation, which is called a microvascular decompression. What they try and do is they at the back of your head here on the left-hand side, they cut like a rectangular sort of hole about that size. And then what they do is they put a burning tool and instruments or whatever, microscope to find out, so they can see what they're doing. And they relocate the blood vessels and the nerves away from the trigeminal nerve, and then they put a Teflon patch on it, then put that, that skull, part of that skull that they took, that they cut out, to get in there, and titanium plate and screws. Well, the operation didn't work. 2 weeks later, the pain came back 2 to 3 times worse than what it was. I take heavy painkillers for my condition that I have. I have good days, I have bad days, but I just live with it, basically. So that's just a bit of a background on what's been happening. Also, too, we're in summertime here in the Southern Hemisphere now, and we've just been through 5 days of over 41 degrees Celsius. 5 days to be exact. Cool change today. That's why it was 32. Beautiful day, absolutely beautiful day. No clouds, it was a good day. I got a couple of more days coming up within the next 3 or 4 days, around 32, 33 degrees before the heat comes back again. So, apart from all that, everything's been, I'd say, okay. I've been meaning to come back on YouTube to do more videos about, various sort of types of content from, Linux distribution reviews, open source news, and being able to go out on location to different places around Perth or, Fremantle and do a bit of filming. But the reason why I've done that is I hadn't been very well with my condition, and this filming business I've sort of put on the back burner. And I hope to, get out there and just do some filming, just on various different sorts of subjects, free things for people to see and do in Perth, go for a cruise to the beach, do a bit of filming out there, Fremantle, in the CBD, and there's various other places around Perth that, I'd like to go out and, show you guys. But yeah, also as well, I'm looking at, doing Linux distribution reviews on some distributions, but not your mainstream ones like Ubuntu and Debian and all that sort of stuff. I've always been a person that has liked very obscure distributions that, they do get a bit of, a little bit of the spotlight here and there, and exposure. But I mean, there is, if you go to the DistroWatch webpage and have a look at how many Linux distributions they are that's listed, and especially the top 100 hits table to the right-hand side of the website. Various distributions like Endless OS, Voyager Linux, Xtix, Triskel. What else have we got here? FreeSpire. I might have a look at that. There's various other, distributions that are based off Ubuntu and Debian here as well. And certainly have a look at TinyCore and an old favourite of mine called Sleetaz Linux, and that is an Italian distribution, if I'm correct. They actually have a rolling release version. I think there's also a stable version and a rolling release one as well. I'll maybe look at both, but also at the same time too, distributions that get added to the DistroWatch webpage, and mind you, there's not just Linux distributions on there. There's BSD, other distributions, especially one that's based off BEOS, which is Haiku. I've got that downloaded. Might take a look at that as well. And also too, I will, if I can, put the link to this page in the show notes, and so you can have a look for yourself. And also too, if you've got any questions you want to ask, just let us know. We'll be allowing comments, for this video. But also too, as I was saying, there are various distributions, especially new ones that do come out, that are added to the DistroWatch new to waiting list. And actually there's two lists. One's for distributions that aren't quite ready yet, and the other ones are basically being evaluated to see if they do get accepted onto DistroWatch. So, but yeah, there've actually been some really, really, really strange and also good, Linux distributions that have come out, and see if I can try and give them a little bit of exposure as well. Under the microscope and whatnot. But I wouldn't say microscope, I mean by just a little bit of exposure, just to show people out there they haven't come across them. So that's what's been going on. As I said, I hope to get out there and do some filming sometime soon, which is perfect weather here because, it's summer here in Perth, West Australia, and also in Australia and other parts of the Southern Hemisphere. But yeah, I hope this live stream does work. I've been mucking around with it for a bit, and I hope you guys can hear me. And we'll take it from there. And also too, we'll need to discuss all different types of, subjects, not only just Linux and, open source projects and whatnot and all that sort of stuff. I did have an internet radio station set up here at home. It is still set up, but I, due to not being well enough to, finish the job, it was running for a couple of days, and then I sort of just, pulled the pin on it for a bit due to not being well and whatnot, and my office / lounge room being a complete mess. I've got shit everywhere. Always pulling things out and trying to put them back. But yeah, I suppose, show you, bits and pieces of the internet radio station and what I got set up and all that sort of stuff, and the stuff that I bought over the last year or two in relation to that, to have a look as well. But yeah, a few shout outs. I'd like to say, good evening to my boy Sam over in Kempsey, New South Wales. How are you, man? I spoke to you on the phone before, but I'll just say hello. Hope everything's good over that way. And also to Lachlan and Laurel, good friends of mine from New South Wales, the mid-north coast. They're in Kempsey, but they, of course, relocated to various places. But yeah, also to Jeffrey Gillum, how you going, man? Hope everything's going good, and you keep them warm in your winter time, being over there in Alabama, United States. And who else? There was actually 2 or 3 people that I forgot. I'd like to say a good evening to Graham Mulqueen. How are you, mate? Everything's well over in Wollongong. John Fleming, how you going, mate? I hope everything's cool over in Shilton and Victoria, and you're keeping safe and whatnot. Jesus, more. I think there's a few other people on here that just go to my Facebook page, give a shout out to. Yeah, Lockie, Laurel, cousins Carly-Ann and Roseanne. Brother Tim, how you going, man? Younger brother, that is. And that's just about it. All right, guys, so this is just a test stream for YouTube, of course. As I said, mentioned those things before that I'm willing to look at. But yeah, please do be patient, because of not being able, I'm not as active as I used to be, especially with my condition. But I'll try. I'll try and make, as much content as I possibly can, and, trying to keep things interesting. And we'll take it from there. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. I will let you go, and we'll see you for another video very soon.